She is thinking about you right now. She will not be the one to reach out first. She will not make it easy to read. Ask her point blank, and she will deflect, laugh it off, or steer the conversation somewhere else entirely. But there is something happening beneath all of that surface behavior that almost every man reads completely backwards. There is one specific pattern that gets misinterpreted more than any other. Men see it and conclude she has moved on or lost interest. In reality, it is one of the clearest signals that she is deeply invested. That pattern is coming. But before it does, there is a foundational truth about how women operate that needs to be in place first, because without it, everything else will continue to confuse you. Women do not express that they miss someone the way men do. They do not make it visible. They fold it inward. They dress it up in behaviors so understated and so contrary to expectation that most men read closeness as distance and interpret someone pulling toward them as someone pulling away. The cost of that misreading is severe. You retreat at the exact moment she is leaning in. You go quiet precisely when she is starting to feel something real, and you walk away convinced she never cared, when the truth was the opposite the entire time. What follows is a breakdown of the specific psychological signals that tell you she is missing you intensely, even when every surface behavior is designed to hide it. And beyond reading those signals, there is one particular approach that cuts through all of it and brings everything into the open. It works because it operates at the level of psychology rather than reaction. Once you understand it, you stop second-guessing and you stop wasting time trying to interpret mixed signals. Start with the most important question: why hide it at all? Picture her picking up her phone, seeing your name, and feeling that immediate pull. There is a spark. There is an urge. And then she puts the phone down and waits. She overthinks it. She minimizes what she felt. This is not simply a performance of indifference. Something more fundamental is happening, showing that she misses you feels, at a deep and instinctive level, like surrendering leverage. It feels exposed. It feels like placing something fragile into someone else's hands without knowing if they will handle it carefully. Women instinctively assess emotional strength before they fully commit, and expressing longing before she knows how you will receive it carries real psychological risk. Here is the part that will reframe a great deal of what you have experienced. When a woman is genuinely developing feelings, she does not become more openly interested. She often becomes less. This sounds wrong, but it is grounded in evolutionary psychology. Her mind is running an assessment. If she creates some distance, will he collapse into chasing her the way insecure men do, or will he remain steady, grounded, secure in himself without needing her to confirm his value? Most men fail this assessment without ever knowing it was happening. They read her distance as disinterest, and they either pursue harder or disappear entirely. Both responses tell her the same thing: that he is not the one. But when you can see through what is actually happening without reacting to the surface of it, the entire dynamic realigns. That brings us to the signal nearly everyone misreads, the one that has probably been visible to you already without you recognizing it for what it was. She becomes inconsistent. One day, she is warm, engaged, responding quickly, genuinely present. The next, she is closed off, slow to reply, giving you almost nothing to work with. One moment she is lit up in conversation, and the next she is one-word answers and flat energy. The instinctive read on this is that interest is fading. That instinct is almost always wrong. What inconsistency actually reflects is internal conflict. When genuine feelings begin to develop, they feel threatening. So she pulls back to protect herself. Then she misses you and moves closer. Then the feelings intensify and the self-protection kicks in again. This is not calculation. It is a genuine push and pull happening inside her. And the fact that she is fighting herself at all means you have already gotten through to her in a meaningful way. Indifference does not create conflict. Real feelings do. Consistent distance is what disinterest actually looks like. Inconsistency is the signature of someone who is in it deeper than she wants to show. Beyond that central signal, there are 5 more specific behaviors worth understanding. The first happens in digital spaces, where she believes she is undetectable. She watches everything you post but never reacts to any of it. She is present in your story views every single time, without a like, without a comment, without any visible trace of engagement. This is connection maintained at a safe distance. She is tracking your life, staying present in your world, making sure she remains in your orbit, all while leaving no evidence that could be used against her. The reliability of her silent watching is the consistency she refuses to show you directly. The second sign involves her finding reasons to reach out that seem to have nothing to do with reaching out. A random piece of content late at night, a question about something that happened weeks ago, something she says reminded her of a conversation you had. None of it is actually about the content. All of it is about wanting contact without the exposure of admitting it. She is creating a doorway and designing it to look like it appeared by accident. The timing is where the truth lives. Late evenings, weekends, the quiet hours when her own thoughts are the loudest. Those are the moments the missing becomes impossible to sit with. The third sign moves through the people you both know. She is not asking about you directly. She is not making it obvious. But your name surfaces in conversations. She steers things in your direction. She finds ways to bring you up while maintaining plausible distance. Speaking about you gives her a version of closeness that does not require her to be vulnerable with you directly. It keeps you present in her world while keeping her emotional exposure minimal. The fourth sign shows up in her body before her words have any chance to manage it. When you are together, she orients toward you fully, even in a group setting. She mirrors your physical movements without any awareness that she is doing it. Her eyes respond to you differently than they do to others. She fidgets in the small, self-conscious ways that appear when someone is hyper-aware of another person's presence. These are not decisions. They are the nervous system expressing what the conscious mind is working to conceal. The fifth sign requires you to pay attention over time rather than in any single moment. She remembers things, details you barely recall mentioning, something you said casually in passing weeks ago that she brings up as though it mattered to her. A preference you shared once that she has held on to. When someone replays interactions in their mind, when they return to specific moments and hold them, those details become embedded. They surface naturally later without her realizing she has just shown you exactly how much space you occupy in her thinking. Now comes the part that matters most, because recognizing these signals is only the first layer. What you do with that recognition determines everything, and this is where most men undo themselves. They see the signs, feel the excitement of confirmation, and immediately move toward her. More messages, conversations about feelings, an attempt to define what is happening, and the moment they do that, she withdraws. The signals vanish, the walls return. Why? Because rushing in the moment you detect interest is proof that you need her validation more than you trust your own value. It demonstrates exactly the kind of emotional instability her behavior was designed to test for. The approach that actually works will feel counterintuitive. When the signs of her interest are most visible, you create a measured distance rather than closing in. Not dramatically, not as a performance, but genuinely and noticeably. You take more time before responding. You end conversations rather than prolonging them. Your life appears full, engaged, moving forward. What happens next is psychological. Her mind, which had been uncertain about where things stood, suddenly has a new and uncomfortable question. She was beginning to feel something, and now there is space where your presence was. The uncertainty that had been holding her back now works in the opposite direction. The need for resolution becomes stronger than the need for self-protection. And that is when she moves toward you, with real intention rather than carefully managed signals. But there is a condition that makes all of this meaningful rather than mechanical, and it is the most important thing here. This only carries weight if you are genuinely at peace with the possibility of walking away. Because the moment you need her to miss you, the quality that makes you worth missing disappears. The moment you are checking constantly, analyzing responses, waiting to feel validated, you have already shifted into the energy that erodes attraction. When your life is full enough and your sense of self is grounded enough that her response, whatever it is, does not determine how you feel about yourself, that is when you become someone she cannot easily stop thinking about. Women are acutely sensitive to the difference between a man who is secure and a man who is performing security. Neediness does not have to be announced. It is felt. And the moment it is felt, interest fades. But a man who knows his own value, who would walk away from something that is not working without bitterness or collapse, that quality is compelling in a way that nothing tactical can manufacture. So understand the signals. Recognize the psychology. Use that understanding thoughtfully, but hold on to the deeper truth underneath all of it. The reason she is concealing what she feels is not that you are insufficient. It is that you matter enough to be frightening. A woman only guards herself against losing something she actually values. So the real question is never whether she misses you. The real question is whether you are becoming someone genuinely worth missing. Because when that is true, you do not need to decode anything. You do not need to manage signals or second-guess dynamics. You become the one she cannot stop thinking about, and that changes everything. If this shifted something in how you see a situation you are currently in, share it with someone who needs to hear it, or drop a thought in the comments about what landed for you.